Hello, welcome back to my channel, Glenn's Vinyl Records. Today I want to do a short video about some Blue Note Tone Poet reissues. 15 of the ones that I like the most, 15 that I play probably the most in my collection. And a bit of a story first about the Blue Note Tone Poet series. It's put together by Joe Harley, the producer, and the mastering is done by Kevin Gray. Joe Harley, before he started the Tone Poet reissue series, was involved with the Music Matters, Blue Note Music Matters series. And after he left that, he went over to work direct for Blue Note and started the Tone Poet series. So what they do is, I'll start with this one, Andrew Hill's Black Fire, which is a great one. And all of the Tone Poets, or most of them, are heavy gatefold jackets, glossy finish, and they come with session photos inside from the actual recording session of the album. And this one has Andrew Hill, of course. With him on this is Joe Henderson on tenor sax, Richard Davis on bass, and Roy Haynes is on drums. It's typical of Andrew Hill's 60s stuff. It's a bit slightly out there, but yeah, it's a great record and one of my favourite in the Tone Poet series. Another one of the ones I play a lot, by Bobby Hutcherson, The Kicker, and could have picked several from Bobby Hutcherson that have been done on the Tone Poet series. Stick Up, Dialogue, Oblique, Medina, they're all great records, but I like The Kicker. This has Joe Henderson again, that was on the Andrew Hill one, playing tenor sax. Bobby, of course, on vibes. Grant Green is on guitar on 3 tracks. Duke Pearson is on piano. Bob Cranshaw on bass, and Al Harewood on drums. And crack, that's another good one from Bobby Hutcherson. Next one is Donald Byrd, Bird in Flight, and I have quite a few Donald Byrd albums, but this one is one that I really like playing a lot. It's 2 different bands on 3 tracks, and then another band on the other 3 tracks. So the first band is Donald Byrd on trumpet, Hank Mobley on tenor, Duke Pearson on piano, and Doug Watkins on bass, with Lex Humphreys on drums. And they play on 3 songs, Ghana, Gate City and Lex, and then they're swapped out by Jackie McLean takes Hank Mobley's place, playing alto, and Reggie Workman comes in on the bass instead of Doug Watkins, but the other players are the same. And that's some great photos from the session again, and it's a great record. Donald Byrd, Bird in Flight. Dexter Gordon, One Flight Up, and this is a fantastic one. Recorded in Paris, France in 1964. Only has 3 tracks. Tanya takes up all of side 1. Copenhagen and Darn That Dream are on side 2. And the lineup here is Donald Byrd, trumpet, Dexter Gordon, tenor, Kenny Drew is on piano, and Nils Henning Orsted Pedersen is on bass, with Art Taylor doing drums. And that's a great Dexter Gordon record, great shot of him there. This one is on Pacific Jazz, but released as a Tone Poet. Chet Baker Sings, his iconic record where he does vocals as well as playing the trumpet. And on here with him, Russ Freeman, Carson Smith, Peter Littman and Lawrence Marable. And that's a great Chet Baker record. Chet Baker Sings. Next I had to put a Lee Morgan record in there, and sort of tossed up between this and, what was it, the Cooker. Yeah, the Cooker. But I went for this one, Cornbread. Great sextet on here with Lee Morgan on trumpet, Jackie McLean on alto, Hank Mobley on tenor sax, so there's 3 horns here, Herbie Hancock's on piano, Larry Ridley on bass, and Billy Higgins on the drums. Session photos on that one, and it's a great Lee Morgan record. Highly recommend that one. Then we go to Grant Green, and he's done several on Blue Note, but I chose this one, Nigeria. It's just a quartet, Grant Green on guitar, Sonny Clark on piano, Sam Jones on bass, and Art Blakey on drums. And it's a great one with some great session photos as well. Grant Green's Nigeria. Hank Mobley. This is one I really like, Poppin', and on here it's also a sextet. Hank Mobley tenor sax, Art Farmer on trumpet, Pepper Adams on baritone, Sonny Clark piano, Paul Chambers on the bass, and Philly Joe Jones on drums. And that was recorded on October 20, 1957 at Van Gelder Studios at Hackensack. It's one of the great Hank Mobley records. Jackie McLean, probably my favourite alto sax player. It's Time. This is a really good tone poet, and I play this a hell of a lot. It's got Charles Tolliver on trumpet, and Jackie is playing alto, of course, Herbie Hancock on piano, Cecil McBee's on bass, and Roy Haynes is on drums. It's a stellar lineup on that one. Doing session photos there. And this has Charles Tolliver on here playing trumpet because it was recorded in 1964, so it's an early one before he actually joined up with Stanley Cowell and started up the Strata East Records label. So that's definitely one to check out. Could not include, or couldn't leave out this one, John Coltrane's Blue Train. And this is the special complete masters set that came out. This is the only Tone Poet reissue where they've duplicated or repeated what they did on Music Matters. Most of the or all of the other Tone Poets you won't find crossing over. Whatever was released on Music Matters, Joe Harley said they would not do on Tone Poet, but this one they made an exception for. And it's a 2-record set there, with a attached booklet inside with a lot of different photos from the session, shots of the master tape reels. And what it is, it's the first record is the Blue Train album as it came out, but then on record 2 we get a lot of alternate takes. We get 2 alternate takes of Blue Train plus a false start, and then 2 alternate takes of Moment's Notice and Lazy Bird as well. And it's good to hear those because until this release they hadn't been heard before. So if you can get this still, it's well worth getting. Okay, Katanga. This is another Pacific Jazz release. Curtis Amy and Dupree Bolton, and it's one of the great tone poets. Probably I'd put in the top 10 for sure. Has Curtis Amy on tenor and soprano, Dupree Bolton on trumpet, Jack Wilson on piano, Ray Crawford on guitar, Victor Gaskin on bass, and Doug Sides on drums. And that's really enjoyable listen. Highly recommend that one, Katanga. One by McCoy Tyner. I chose this one, Extensions, because it's a bit different. It's got a great lineup on here. McCoy Tyner on piano, of course. Alice Coltrane is on harp, and Wayne Shorter plays tenor and soprano. Gary Bartz is on alto, Ron Carter on bass and Elvin Jones on drums. And that's a fantastic record by McCoy Tyner Extensions. One that probably isn't that well known, but it's a fantastic record by Harold Vick called Steppin' Out. And I've got a record by Harold Vick that came out on the Strata East label. It's Don't Look Back, I think. That's really good as well. But on here, it's a really upbeat, very enjoyable record. And he's playing here with Blue Mitchell on trumpet, Grant Green on guitar, John Patton is on organ because there's no bass, he's playing Hammond B3, and Ben Dixon on the drums. And it's a great tone poet by Harold Vick, Steppin' Out. Had to put in a Wayne Shorter record, of course, the Allseeing Eye, and it's a large group on this one. Freddie Hubbard, trumpet and flugelhorn, Alan Shorter, his brother, playing flugelhorn, Gresham Moncur III on trombone, James Spaulding on alto, Wayne on tenor of course, Herbie Hancock on piano, Ron Carter on bass and Joe Chambers on drums. Some great photos there, especially the large one of Wayne. Highly recommend that one too. And just finishing up with Sonny Clark record, the Sonny Clark Trio, and it's just Sonny on piano with Paul Chambers on bass and Philly Joe Jones on drums. And this was recorded in October 1957, also at Hackensack in New York, and it's a great record by this great trio, so I'd highly recommend that one as well. So that's a look at 15 of the Tone Poet series reissues that I have in my collection that I would highly recommend picking up. Thank you for joining me today, and if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.